All right, welcome everybody to the January 16th Parker Town Council meeting. I'm going to reconvene our council meeting at 7:02 p.m. Council, please sign in. All council members are present. I see a whole bunch of young people in the room. So if you're under the age of 18, please stand up and come forward. Serious. If you're under the age of 18, please stand up and come forward. Dennis, you're not under 18, so all right. Yeah. All right, this is your lesson in civics tonight. Come all the way up forward, this big empty area up front. They're like, dang it. Why did we come tonight? I'd have made you do this any night. So
I didn't recognize you.
You're,
How are you, buddy?
So you guys are going to lead us tonight in the most important thing that we're going to do here tonight. You're going to lead us in honoring our nation with the Pledge of Allegiance. So the way it's going to work is you see the flags behind us. We're going to turn and we're going to be quiet. And everyone behind you is going to be quiet because they're going to be waiting on you to put your hand on your heart and start saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, I'm assuming that all of you know how to say the Pledge of Allegiance, right? Okay, good. I saw most heads shaking. So it's going to be up to you guys. Okay, you all set?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, way to go with authority. All right.
Stand again.
Nice. And you guys got it all right. Sometimes people say the pledge wrong and they say one nation, pause, under God. When you look at the pledge, it's actually one sentence, one nation under God. So when you're saying the pledge, you know, some people pause and then you feel awkward because you said it all the way through and you're like, did I mess up? You did it right. So good job, guys. Fantastic. All right. Let's see here. Next up, we have special presentations. I don't believe we have any special presentations tonight. No? All right. Then we'll move up to the next item. On item number 3, it's our Parker Chamber of Commerce updates. Mr. Houston, Happy New Year. Come on down.
Happy New Year. I would have worn one of my 37 Legend shirts tonight had I known that the Legend guys were going to be here. So, Happy New Year, everyone. I wanted to share some exciting things, starting off the new year with the Parker Area Chamber of Commerce. I want you to think about something first. Imagine T-shirts, shorts, flip-flops, and sunglasses. I ask you to think about that on this cold evening, because Parker Days is only 142 days away. And we're, as we do year-round, we're hard at work behind the scenes. Lael Taylor and the whole team are working diligently on making Parker Days bigger and better as we try, which is our goal each year. Our Trace Adkins kickoff concert on Thursday night, June 7th, has so far been a big success. We've never announced that early for one of our kickoff concerts. We did that on purpose so we could kind of give people an opportunity for some last-minute Christmas gifts, and it's been very, very successful. We've been very pleased. And moving into the next holiday of New Year's that we had a promotion going, and now we're into our Valentine's Day promotion that kicked off actually I think at noon today, and we've actually partnered with some of our hotel partners here in Parker and put together some hotel packages for people that want to either come to town or maybe just have a staycation if you already live here in Parker, to put together some packages for concert tickets and hotel accommodations for that evening. So if you want to learn more about that, it's on our Facebook page. I did leave one thing at each of your place settings, and that's a handout on our 2018 Economic Outlook Forecast Breakfast. This is our fairly new event, but it's our third annual event, our Economic Outlook Forecast Breakfast, coming up a week from Friday on January 25th. It's a 7:30 a.m. event for those of you that enjoy mornings. It'll be held across the street at the Pace Center in the large room. And we're excited to bring back again J.D. Foster, who, since this is printed, was promoted. He's now the chief economist for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And Jason Schrock, who is the chief economist for Governor Hickenlooper's office. So as we have in the past, JD will give us a crystal ball look ahead at 2018 on a national scope, and Jason will try to do that same thing on the state level and even take it down to kind of the Douglas County level to a degree this year as well. So looking forward to that. It's a great event for the community. We see of the 100 people that roughly show up for that, I would say about 80 of them are faces that we don't normally see at events. So it's a different type of an audience, which is great. We love to see some new faces, and so please join the other business and community leaders on that morning of the 25th. And people can just sign up for that on the chamber website or give us a call at the office. Other big thing we're working on, you've heard me talk about workforce in the past. Just want to give you an update on some of those workforce initiatives. Workforce and that shortage of workforce is the absolute #1 challenge for Parker area businesses. We hear that every day as we visit with businesses throughout the region. We have businesses that would like to expand but can't, businesses that would like to add a second location, in some cases a third location, but don't feel that comfort level to do so because of a shortage of workforce or qualified workforce, and businesses that would like to hire more tradespeople that can't. And as we look at that being the #1 regional challenge for business, that's made it the #1 regional priority for the chamber, and it is our #1 priority for 2018 and going forward. What actions the chamber taking on workforce? We're excited that we'll be, we're interviewing at this time. We'll be hiring the first full-time workforce and business education director for any chamber of commerce in the South Metro. And that person, when they wake up in the morning, will be focused on working with businesses and working with our educational partners to help fill that workforce pipeline. We've convened our Parker Area High School principals a few weeks ago on step 1, and we have a series of meetings coming up here in the coming months to strategize and get some game plan in place, working with the schools and the businesses to bring those two together. Be on the lookout for some business tours of our education partner facilities, and we're also going to bring the educators out into the business community and have some education tours of our business partner facilities. Working on some initiatives with student internships and apprenticeships, teacher externships. We have some great interest in that area. Career Expo is in the planning stages. We'll also be developing, and we've started this process to develop a workforce task force to get some core people together in the community that are focused and passionate about this, and that will include people from business and education. Last Friday we convened 100 CTE or career and tech education teachers at Arapahoe Community College. We partnered with their leadership team to co-host that, and it was an incredible event to have 100 of these teachers that are in the room talking about the unknowns that they have, and on the other side of the table you have the business community talking about the unknowns of education. So we're really trying to bring those two sides together. Besides partnering with Arapahoe Community College, CU South Denver and other education partners are also at the table with us as well. And our ultimate goal with our workforce initiatives as our #1 priority would be to create workforce solutions with our strategic partners to try to help solve that challenge, which will make it easier for Matt Carlson and the team to attract more businesses this year if we've got a qualified workforce to step up and make those things happen. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any 2018 questions.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Dennis. Council, do you have any questions for Dennis?
Very good.
Just the continental breakfast starts at 7:30, but the program actually doesn't start until 8, correct? a.m.?
No, that's a great question. Oh, yeah, it is on here.
Okay.
It is.
Because if it starts at 8, she'll be there at 7:59.
Okay.
She
Yes.
wants to make sure.
But I should note for you, Debbie, that these are all Eastern time zone times.
We have a problem.
We got a problem. You,
everyone.
Houston, we have a problem.
Thank you.
Oh, I was
All
going.
right. Thanks, Dennis. All right, next item up is our public comment. This is an opportunity for you to come forward if you have any public comment for council. These are for items that are not currently on our agenda. If you're here for an agenda item, there'll be an opportunity for public comment on that specific item at that time. There's a 3-minute time limit. No action will be taken, so this is just an opportunity for you to give input or comment on anything general. So we'll open up public comment at 7:12 p.m. if there's anyone wishing to address council. If you could state your name and address for the record, please, and the timer is right above my head.
All right. Council, thank you so much for taking your time. Josh, saw that you got to retire from the board. Thanks for all your service there. The reason I'm here tonight.
Name and address, please.
Scott Wright, 12065 South Majestic Pineway, Parker, Colorado.
Okay.
Good. The reason some of our homeowners are here today is we are concerned, and we were hoping that the town council could support us at the commercial development is going to go on the corner of Hess and Parker Road. They have planned an exit that will be one of their main exits that can have up to 5,000 cars a day that is going to go directly dump into our neighborhood. There's three bus station stops in that area, as well as numerous kids, and that's our most popular walking path. If we're going to have semis coming into our neighborhood, it's very concerning for us from a safety perspective. So candidly, I believe that use by special review should be looked at for this, because right now at administrative review, they can just approve it the way that it is without the voice of you guys looking at it and saying, hey, is this fair? Is this something that we have? I'm not aware of any other commercial developments that empty into a residential community. If you guys have any examples, I just haven't found any for Parker. So this would be the first thing for us. And when we're looking up to 5,000 cars, that's the worst case, but that's 3.3 cars per minute. We have about 100 cars a day on that road. So it'd be an extremely, extremely dangerous environment. All right. Thanks, council.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else for public comment? Oh, sir, come on down. If you'll state your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Jim Tollefsrud, 20202 Spruce Point Place, Parker, Colorado.
Could you spell your last name for me?
Tollefsrud. I'm up here for the same comment that Scott was. I think it comes down to something very fundamental. Is the town of Parker interested in making decisions to make neighborhoods less safe? We can argue on the numbers of cars that come through, but no doubt it will be a significant change. And as Scott mentioned, it's a popular walking path right next to a park and our pool. And what he didn't mention is there are other options that this developer can use as entrances. There's one off of Hess, and there's also one off of Scenic Pines Road, where there's already a cutout in place, designed for commercial traffic. The primary option that the developer wants to use is off the commercial or off the residential road there. There's no cutout in place. There was no cutout in place when we bought our houses in the neighborhood either. So this would be a significant change for all of us. And I encourage the council to step up and challenge the developer to use one of the other options that's designed for commercial traffic and not feed this traffic through our community.
Okay.
Okay.
Jim, excuse me. Jim, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anyone else for public comment? Good evening. If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, it's Connie Russell, 12062 South Majestic Pineway, Parker.
Thank you.
And I'm part of this neighborhood as well. And we're just very concerned about the safety in there. The streets are fairly narrow. Two-way traffic is difficult as it is, especially if there are cars parked, if you've got company or if you've got your own car parked on the street. I'm concerned if they have to bring in heavy large fire trucks. There'll be delivery trucks if there's going to be restaurants and things on that corner. A lot of people walk their dogs. A lot of people run, bike riding, all that. I just don't see that it's going to be a safe environment for all of us.
All right.
All right.
Connie, thank you very much. Anybody else for public comment? Rule number one, sit on the aisle, right? So you don't have to know. If you state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Ron Cartwright. I'm in Pine Bluffs, 19917 East Shady Ridge Road.
Okay.
I'm here for similar comment. I think one of the options that has been considered is to completely block off the entrance into the residential neighborhood. And I think one of the homeowners already talked about how narrow the streets are. I've seen my neighbor across the street had about probably 30, 40 cars just helping for their move-in party. And we could barely squeeze by because cars were blocking both sides and parked down both sides. So it was pretty challenging. Again, I think safety is the key here. The other thing about the neighborhood is they have a lot of dead ends. There's no true cul-de-sacs in the neighborhood, so you just can't turn around. So the dead end in the neighborhood, of course, would force cars to have to continuously back out. We actually have a bus stop outside our house, so I'm not sure how the buses would be able to navigate the neighborhood with some of the proposed options that are being considered right now. But again, I think the main point that I wanted to articulate was just the safety of the neighborhood is really at risk here with what's being considered in the just from an access perspective through the residential neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Anyone else for public comment? All right. Going once, going twice. All right. Seeing none, we'll close public comment at 7:18 p.m. Next item on our agenda is comments from mayor and council. We'll start with Mr. Dyak.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything other than, Dennis, I am trying to plan my vacation yet again around Parker Days, so hopefully we can make that happen.
All right. Debbie.
I don't have anything at this time either.
Okay. Renee?
I think all of us probably participated in the website redesign meetings. And then I believe that now that is open to the public. So if anybody's interested in giving feedback on our Town of Parker website, that would be wonderful. And then we also had myself and John, we had our finance liaison meeting.
Okay. Mr. Rivero?
Last week, I had the honor I chair the Douglas County Youth Initiative, which is it's a subsidiary of the Douglas County Partnership of Governments, and we do everything from outreach to youth and families to Youth Congress down at the state capitol every fall to Outstanding Youth Awards. It's a great group. It does a lot. I'm very, very proud to chair it, and we're gearing up again this year for Outstanding Youth Awards. And these are awards that are given to Douglas County youth that face a serious adversity in their life and then come out as champions. And the best one that I use, the hardest example I think, is a young lady that lost her father to suicide and then went out and immediately created a website for kids that lose their fathers to suicide. So it's just that, it's that kind of drive, and we try to recognize that, because I think as great of a community as we are, and the great people that we have in this community, we have achievers everywhere. I mean, it's just, this county is amazing as far as the achievers go, but I want to make sure that there's those that need to be recognized, and I don't want them to slip through the cracks. So it's a great organization, and with that, that is like I said, an offshoot of the Partnership of Douglas County Governments. Again, partnership in this county is huge. We talk amongst ourselves. We talk to each other. We try to share ideas. We share do's and don'ts. It could break down once in a while, and sometimes it can break down severely, but I think it's really, really important to push how special it is here in Douglas County. And with that said, tomorrow morning, we're all meeting at the Pay Center at 7 a.m., bright and early, some of us before our real jobs. It'll be the elected from all the different towns from the county. Fire will be there, the schools will be there, the library will be there, and this happens bi-monthly. And then it's just, it's a great example for the state. So again, kudos to Douglas County.
Awesome. Amy?
Councilmember John Dyak and Debbie Lewis and I had the distinct honor of attending the funeral for Deputy Zach Parrish. And, you know, it was honestly something I hope to never do again. But we were able to pay respect to the Parrish family, show support to our officers, Douglas County Sheriff's Department, South Metro Fire and Rescue, Colorado State Patrol. Something that was really outstanding, but really hard to do that day. That's it, sorry.
Oh,
Josh.
I sort of wrapped up my tenure of, I spent the last 6 years on the board of directors for E470 and the last 2 years as the chair. So they gave me a nifty little award. There was a cake that nobody ate, so I think the employees had it at the in the break room later. But it was my privilege, and in all fairness, through the work of the board, long before I got on there, and hopefully a little bit of while I was on there, we definitely left the authority in a better position than when we started, and I think that's always the goal. So freed up a little bit of time in there. We'll press Councilmember Dyak into service.
There you go.
Going
And
forward.
just to be clear, you did have to pay your toll to get to it, and your toll to get
Every
back.
single
You
time.
did. So, all right, just to be
I
sure.
have a
So-
question for Councilman Martin.
Absolutely.
Are you the board member that had the thought to put Drive Nice, Santa's Coming
No,
on the UMBs?
I would like to take credit for that, but no,
Okay,
that was not me.
Nope. That was good.
There you go.
Remember
They
Santa's.
didn't like most of the suggestions
Oh,
I
I
had for
bet.
this.
All right, and for me, the biggest thing was this last Saturday, I had my Metro Mayor's Caucus annual retreat. Metro Mayor's Caucus is a group of 42 mayors throughout the metro area, and we get together once every 2 months to discuss issues facing our own individual municipalities. It's a really, really cool and unique opportunity because I get to sit in a room with mayors ranging from the largest municipalities in the area, Denver and Aurora, all the way down to like Beaumar. Does anybody know where Beaumar is? A couple people know where Beaumar is. The town of Parker has like 5 times the number, or like the number of employees we have in the town of Parker is like 4 or 5 times the number of citizens they have in all of Beaumar, right? So you get this great range of what issues face little tiny landlocked municipalities like that and big, huge municipalities like Denver and Aurora. Once a year we have our annual retreat where we discuss our goals for the year and so on and so forth. But this year, what I wanted to mention, if you have a pen, piece of paper, if you like reading books, inspirational kind of things, but educating yourself, we had a gentleman, and this was the second time I'd heard him. His name is, he pronounces it Martine, but it's spelled Martin. Carcasson, Carcasson. He's with us.
It is Martine.
Martine. Half the room called him Martin, half the room called him Martine. He's with the Center for Public Deliberation at CSU, and he spoke to us. The topic of his speech was confronting wicked problems with deliberative engagement. And it was a really interesting thing to hear about the psychology of the human brain and how it relates to interactions with other people, and how you use these tools to solve what he calls wicked problems, big problems. So I'm just going to quote one of the things he said that was just fantastic. And he said a lot of really cool things. This one was a really good one, if I can find it here real quick. That you have to acknowledge that others' concerns are just as valid as your concern, so they are not bad if you are good. And one of the things we're constantly dealing with up here is being accused and told that things that we're evil, we're this, we're that, because we have a different opinion, or assuming that we're going to think you're evil or bad because you have a different opinion. It was really interesting to hear from him from a physiological and psychological standpoint why humans think that way. And so all of us, not just government and citizens, but all of us just as humans have to acknowledge that fact that even though by human nature we're suckers for the good versus evil narrative, that all of us have the right to our opinions, and that doesn't make you good or evil, that just makes you a human. So it was really cool experience to listen to this cat. He really knew what he was talking about, and it really kind of opened your eyes to a lot of things. But most of all, it's funny because after he left from that and we had lunch, then we addressed an issue, and I've never seen in the 6 years I've been sitting in this chair, I've never seen the 42 mayors of Metro Mayor's Caucus actually yell at each other as much as, well, it wasn't yelling, but heated debate as we did on a big issue that's going to be facing all of us, and that's transportation in the metro area. And how, whether you're Republican or Democrat or liberal or conservative or hate taxes or love taxes, the reality is our road infrastructure, excuse me, kids, our road infrastructure sucks. And it's primarily funded, a lot of people don't realize, through gas tax. Well, now we have a federal mandate and a community mandates from our citizens to make vehicles that drive longer without using as much gas, or heck, even vehicles that don't use gas at all. So there is a diminishing amount of funds going in to maintain our road systems, and we have more people using them. So there is a huge crash coming down the pipe. And so we were trying to discuss opportunities and options for that, and holy cow, it was quite interesting to try to utilize some of Martine's tools in this wicked problem. So it's something that we all are going to have to address at some point here in the near future. So any rate, that's it for me. So let's go ahead and move on to our next item, which is our consent agenda. So consent agenda items are considered to be routine, will be enacted with one motion and one vote unless a council member asks to have something removed for further discussion or asked to have something added. So at this time, council, I would entertain discussion or a motion for consent agenda items 6A through 6E.
Mayor, I would like to add one item to the consent agenda.
Okay.
I move to extend the term for Steve Connor, who is an alternate on the town's special licensing authority through 1/31/18.
Okay, so council, I'm going to amend my little discussion point there. I'm going to look for discussion or entertain a motion on consent agenda items 6A through the newly adjusted 6F.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Amy and a second by Renee. Council, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. And for the kids in the audience, you'll notice on that board, the light didn't turn on next to my name. Do you think it's because I didn't want to vote on what they wanted to do? It's because in the town of Parker, by our charter, which is like our constitution here in Parker, it says that the mayor is a non-voting member of this board. So I don't get to vote unless they tie. If they tie, I get to vote. I also get to veto them if they get all knuckleheaded crazy and all that, but that'll be for a different
9 days
meeting.
we can overrule.
But then, yeah, they can come back and overrule me, but they have to arm wrestle me for that, so that's all right. All right, so we're going to move on to our next item, which is our town administrator's report. And I know our town administrator is out on some personal business, so I want to say that anyone in the room, our town administrator's report is available online once a quarter. It's a great document for you to hit if you want to read about what's going on in the town, community development updates, what's going on with new developments throughout town, cultural updates, everything. There's charts, graphs, pictures, numbers, all sorts of cool stuff in here that everyone should read, and especially if you're going to come in, if you go to Legend High School, because I'm going to test you on it at the end of tonight's meeting. Only one of them smiled. So, and we've got some Cimarron too. Cimarron kids, you guys make sure you go online and download it right now so you can get the 411 on it, okay? They're like, yeah, whatever. He gave me the thumbs up. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next item, which is item number 8. This is ordinances. First item is item 8A. This is a public hearing for an ordinance number 12.05.12 on second reading. This is a bill for an ordinance to amend section 2.04.020 of the Parker Municipal Code concerning alternative members for the Cultural and Scientific Commission. Elaine Mariner is not available, so her stand-in tonight, playing the role of Elaine Mariner, will be none other than Jim Maloney.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. Lane is at a cultural commission tonight, and ironically, that's what the item before you is about. In 1992, the Town Council established the Cultural and Scientific Commission, and that ordinance provided for the selection of regular members and alternate members. And the purpose of alternate members was to fill in at those times when regular members could not attend, so you could maintain a quorum for purposes of doing business. In 2017, the number of regular members was increased from 7 to 11, and the Cultural Commission believes it's no longer necessary to have alternates. So the request before you this evening is to eliminate the requirement that there be alternates in the original adopting ordinance from 1992. Any questions, Mayor, Council?
Council, any questions for Jim?
Nope.
No? All right, we'll open it up for public comment at 7:31 p.m. if there's anyone here to address council on this item. Tara, are you addressing council? You're just moving your person? Okay. All right, just making sure. All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment at 7:31 PM, and I'll entertain further discussion or a motion, please.
I move to approve ordinance number 12.05.12 on second reading.
Second.
Motion by Josh and a second by Debbie. Council, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is item 8B. This is for ordinance number 1.466.2 on second reading. This is a bill for an ordinance to amend the definitions section and to add a new section, 3.16, of the Town of Parker's Personnel Manual. Tara, you are going to be our Maloney for this one.
Wonderful. I was hoping I could give it over to
Give it over to Jim. We'll just, everything tonight is on Jim.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a second reading for an ordinance to amend the personnel manual for the purposes of when we have exempt employees who are called out for purposes of emergency management or deployment for matters that are deemed emergencies. There was currently no way to give them compensation, and this allows the flexibility to allow for compensation for exempt employees when they are asked to attend to matters of emergency management or deployment.
All right. Council, do you have any questions? No? We'll open it up for public comment at 7:33 PM. Dr. Milan, you want to public comment on personnel matters? No? I don't think. All right. Seeing none, we're going to close public comment at 7:33 PM, and I'll entertain further discussion or a motion, please.
I move to approve ordinance number 1.466.2 on second reading.
Second.
Motion by Amy and a second by Josh. Council, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. And with no further business before council, kids, you chose the right night to come to council.
Yeah, they did.
Because we will adjourn at 7:33 PM. Ow. Look at that.
Oh, Josh, did he beat
I'll tell
your
you,
record?
normally the meetings normally aren't this fast.
Josh was on the